When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
So low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of Cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile. And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile.
That's Tesla CEO Elon Musk unveiling the Cybercab. That happened last night in Hollywood. Also announced a surprise Robovan for transporting 20 people. But perhaps the most intriguing news to come out of the event had nothing to do with vehicles. Tesla also had its Optimus robots on display, serving as bartenders. Now, the news has been met with a thud on Wall Street. Tesla stock down 7.5% this morning. With more on this, let's go to James Lalli, an independent automotive analyst based right here in Montreal. James, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Elias.
Now, the timelines were very murky, right? They showed us beautiful products, no real timelines, but Tesla does have a track record of eventually delivering on these things. What do you say? What's your reaction to last night?
It's very true to Elon's style. To your point, historically, these product unveils, these sort of grand events, they typically fall flat on the next day, and there's almost always a negative reaction in the market because Elon's always thinking many years ahead. And in this specific case, FSD, full self-driving, is something that he's been talking about for many years already. So I think the market at least was looking for more of a definitive timeline, more details, more concrete evidence that things are progressing in the right direction. And they didn't get any of that. Essentially what they got was a vision, which is, we've had the vision for a while, so people were kind of looking for a little bit more. I think that explains the reaction today.
We did get, a look at the product, right? And everyone's going to be different on this. I think the product does look stunning, but even their announced timelines, right? Like usually, obviously they usually don't meet those targets. It does still seem very far away. What do you think about the timelines? Are you disappointed the future isn't now?
I'm not disappointed just because I was kind of expecting it. I track the progress of their full self-driving technology very closely and the progress that they're making. And they've made significant progress, I would say, in the past 12 months. But there's still, if you look at their intervention rate, there's some people in the community that actually track with their own vehicles how often they need to intervene when they're using full self-driving. And a pool of people put these together and they collect this data and they create charts. And so we can actually monitor the progress through this data, which is publicly available. And the data shows that while they're making progress, it's not really, it's heading in the right direction, but it's happening very, very slowly. And so that adds more doubt to the timeline. And unfortunately, because of all of the hype that's been created and all of the promises on this timeline from Elon in the past, people start to question a little bit, how sincere he is sometimes or how realistic these timelines are.
This Cybercab doesn't have a steering wheel. It doesn't have pedals. And some people I've seen saying, you know what, put a steering wheel in there, put some pedals, let me buy it sooner than when autonomous driving is available. What do you think? Is Tesla making a mistake by not selling a smaller, cheaper vehicle with a steering wheel?
I would say so. Like, this has been my gripe with Tesla. Like, from an investor perspective, I feel like I agree with everything that they're doing with respect to the strategy and making the bet on autonomy, because it really has the opportunity to open up a lot of value for the company, and it'll be great for society. If ever this gets solved, it solves a lot of issues for society, and and improves safety, etc. The challenge is, the problems that I see are that the core business, the automotive business, Tesla had a massive lead in that space in the EV business. And by sort of focusing exclusively on this FSD, they've sort of taken their foot off the gas a little bit on the core automotive business. And to your point, I think this vehicle that was presented yesterday, I think was beautiful. I agree with you. It would be a really cool subcompact vehicle that they could sell, and they would sell millions a year. And that's something that I think would be really well accepted by the market and by Wall Street as well. So that's where the frustration comes in. I feel like they could potentially be doing more than they're currently doing. They maybe gone too much in one direction with respect to this bet on autonomy. But at the same time, if somebody truly believes that this is the direction that the company needs to go in, what they presented last night was very exciting because they really showed like the vehicle itself. They showed the way that they plan to have the vehicle charge autonomously. They showed how the vehicle can be cleaned autonomously with robot vacuums and stuff. So overall, like if you're really bullish on autonomy, this was a really exciting presentation. I think a lot of people still don't quite believe them that they're going to get there anytime soon.
What are your thoughts on the Robovan, that the van for transporting 20 people, or as Elon Musk called it, the Robovan? What do you think of that? That was a little bit surprising that came out last night.
Yeah, there were some rumors that they would release a van. So I wasn't quite surprised to see the van. Looking at the van itself, like the design was clearly very futuristic. The interior was huge. Like 20 people came out of that van. So it can carry a lot of people, right? And when you're thinking of autonomy, it all comes down to cost per mile. And obviously, if a vehicle can carry more people autonomously, then the cost per mile for those people to travel becomes lower. So it makes sense from a financial perspective for them to offer a vehicle like this. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes them to actually build it, though. So it always comes back to that. Like the vision's nice, the future is exciting, but how realistic is this, and when can we actually expect to be on the market? Is
Tesla going after public transit? I mean, is that the company when you see self-driving cars, a self-driving gigantic Robovan? Is that what the future holds for them? Go after public transit?
The grand vision for Tesla FSD is that it'll displace essentially all forms of transportation. So if you think of just the taxi market in North America, it's worth about $60 billion. Tesla's company valuation is, before today's sell-off, was somewhere around $800 billion. So just going after the taxi market's not enough. Taxi and rideshare, it's really not enough. What Tesla wants to do with FSD is really displace all other forms of transportation, including train, including bus, public transit, and individual vehicle ownership. So in theory, if it's very inexpensive for you to move to point A to point B, more people will forego buying their own cars because it just wouldn't make sense financially. They'll actually just use robotaxi. That's sort of the really big picture, long-term vision that kind of we're moving towards with Tesla.
Last thing, the Optimus robot was on display. I said it was bartending. It was pouring beers. It was pouring a drink and handing it out. What are your thoughts on that part of the company? Not the cars, but the robots.
Yeah, Optimus is very exciting. And what's neat about Optimus is the technology that they're developing for the cars will eventually be easily able to be transported towards the Optimus robot. In other words, the things that the car needs to do really well, if they can get that to work in the car, those things, they could, in theory, get those things to work really well in the robot. And potentially the market is much, much bigger. Like Elon talked about yesterday, how one person on Earth may want, on average, one robot per person, or even more than one robot per person, because these robots will, in his vision, sort of do anything for you. Do your laundry, get your groceries, etc. So, and he thinks that he can actually mass produce them for a reasonable price, which is maybe a key adoption factor as well. So, look, it's another one of these sky's the limit opportunities. It's another one of these things that's really futuristic and really differentiates Tesla from other companies. I think it's another one of these moonshots, though, and we're probably many, many years away, if not a decade away, from this actually sort of happening realistically.
James, we have to leave it there. Always a pleasure talking. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Elias. Take care.
James Lalli is an independent automotive analyst based right here in Montreal.